Okay, I am recording and I want you to know that it's often we record our Zooms, Marla and I, so that students could watch them again later, or if they were absent, could watch them. And so I'm going to talk more about how to set up recording later. But for right now, I am going to just mention a few things about today. Again, we're not experts. Uh, we're doing this 4 times just to get started. We'll repeat this again on Friday at 10 a.m. And then next week we'll do the same thing. And we'll record each one. We definitely have some things we want to talk to you about, but ask us questions as we go. You can ask questions by unmuting yourself or by putting it in the chat. So, any questions so far? Okay. And what I was saying earlier was that I always put my contact information, at least in the first few classes, so that my students know how to contact me if they have some sort of technical difficulty, and I know how to contact them if I do. So twice now I've had Zoom classes where I lost power. Well, one time my computer just crashed, and then today there was a thunderstorm and I lost power for 2 seconds and my computer turned off. So that happens. And so you want to be able to say, hey, I'll be right back. My power just, I just lost power. One of the nice things about Zoom, though, is even though I lost power, the Zoom classroom was still in the cloud. It was still existing. So even though I suddenly blinked out and wasn't there anymore, my class was still there. And so they waited for me. So I came back after about 10 minutes. That's how long it took for my computer to reboot. And they were actually still there. So uh, anyway, students are somewhat forgiving because they also have technical difficulties. Okay, so chat. I wanted to I wanted you to know that you can use the chat. As an instructor, you will be a little orange icon will light up if you have a chat you haven't seen and let you know that someone's put a chat in. So I've been asking you to put your name and your subject or the reason why you might be using Zoom. And now what I'd like you to put in chat to everyone is how you think you might use Zoom. What are some of the ways you think you might use Zoom this fall? And as you're doing that, the chat, by the way, is not going to be visible in the recording. Now I can download the chat and for me, there's some icons at the bottom of the chat, so I can download it at the end of the meeting, so I can have a record of the chat. But what you're saying isn't going to be visible in the recording. That said, what you're saying isn't necessarily private, so I will get a printout of the chat, and I wouldn't want you or a student to think that the chat is a private chat. So anyway, I will download this chat and I will look to see what sorts of things you want to do, and that will inform how we handle the future trainings. While we're on chat, I'd like you to also know that you can privately chat with someone. And this is a nice way for a student to ask you a question without having to let everyone see it. So if you look at where it says to and then everyone, you can select my name. And I'd like you to select me, Jessica, Rabb, and on a scale from 1 to 10, where do you think you are with Zoom? 10 being an expert, and 1, this is your very first time. And somebody just sent 0, but the scale is 1 to 10. But by the way, I tell students that the chat, they can privately chat with other students in the class, but I download the chat at the end of class, and so I will see it. So I'm not trying to spy on them, but they shouldn't put anything in a chat, even if it's private, in quotes, that they aren't willing for me to see. And if you just put 10, please, feel free to add to what we're saying. Again, Marla and I are not experts. Okay, so I got to put on my glasses. And what I'd like to do now is have you look at the participants part of Zoom. And it's down at the bottom, at least that's where it is for me. It's like 2 people and a number indicating how many participants there are. At least that's how it looks for me. And I can see there's 26 of us, which is great. And if you click on the participants, you should be able to see a list of who's here. And so keep in mind that that's how your name appears to the student too, if this is the Zoom account you'll be using with the student. So you may want to, I'm going to show you how to adjust your profile, but that is the name that the student would see. And I, as an instructor, can rename people. I have a student in my class this semester, this summer, and every time he logs in, he logs in, his name is iPhone. And so every time I change it to Timothy, but he now has actually figured out how to change it himself, but just FYI. And then on the participant list, you should see some nonverbal feedback buttons. Let's see. Actually, I'm not seeing them. Does anybody see the nonverbal? It's like yes, no. Do you see them, Marla?
Not on the participants, but I think they're on chat. Nope.
I don't know. Heather, do you?
If you go to reactions, you have thumbs up and...
Yeah.
We have reactions, but I like the nonverbal participant.
It could be that we haven't set this up in our new room yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I'll cover that another time. Just by the way, the Zoom I use with my classes, it has in participants, students can click yes, no. There's some other options too, thumbs up, thumbs down, more than you get with just the reactions. Reactions, you have, I think, a thumbs up and a clap. But anyway, so we'll do nonverbal feedback some other time. So instead, let's go to Zoom settings. I want to make sure you're aware of some of the settings in Zoom. So I am going to share my screen in just a second. First, I'm going to log into Zoom. So I'm going to share my screen. There's a button at the bottom that says, it's like an arrow pointing up. And I'm going to select my browser. And by the way, when I am doing a Zoom class, I try to clean up my browser so that there aren't a bunch of tabs open that I wouldn't want students to know are open. And I also clean up the space behind me, though I have a virtual background, obviously, but you wouldn't want to have things behind you that you wouldn't want students to see. So anyway, just FYI, do a little housekeeping before you start a Zoom class. I also think I did have my computer crash once, so I think just trying to close any app that's open that you don't need might help. Okay, so I'm in my, I've logged into Zoom, and I'm going to go to Profile. And I would recommend that you have a picture or something that can show when you aren't showing video. So for example, I'll turn off my video and it shows my picture. Marla's a super student. But it's nice to have something, and encourage your students to do that too. The other thing I wanted to show you was with our Nashville State accounts, we have what's called a personal link. And I'm going to show that. And you can edit that and give it you can make it sound like something that makes sense for you. So for example, my personal Zoom link says Rabb Virtual Office. And the idea is that I could share this link with a student. I could put it in my syllabus, and now they have a way to join me on Zoom. I could say, okay, meet me at that link at 10 a.m. and they will be in a waiting room, a virtual waiting room until I arrive. And then in fact, I'll receive an email if someone's waiting for me, and then I can open my Zoom link, open it, and meet them. So that's something we all have as part of our Nashville State accounts. And I think that's about it on the profile page. The meeting page is how you can schedule a meeting or a class, and I'm just going to show you how I might schedule a meeting that is for a class that meets regularly. So let's say it's biology 1110, and it's a virtual class. I'm making this up, but let's say it's a virtual class that meets Monday and Wednesday from 8 to 11. Now, I'm not actually thinking I would be on Zoom for 3 hours, but let's say, maybe I'll just say it starts at 8. So I can make one Zoom link for that. I could start it for the first day of classes. I could say August 24th. And then 8 a.m. And I could put that it would be 3 hours. I doubt I would actually do it for 3 hours, but I could say 3 hours. I could say recurring meeting. I could say weekly. And then when I say it's weekly, it's going to allow me to check which days of the week. So I could select Monday and Wednesday. And then I can select an end date. So I could say December, I don't know, 14th. And now if I click save, I've got one link that would serve as a way to meet on Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 a.m. for an entire semester, and it would just be one link. Okay. Ask me questions if you have any. I'll just keep going. And I got my glasses on. Okay.
I have one real quick question,
Yeah.
Jennifer.
Yeah.
Howard Doty.
Hi.
Okay, so I've got two classes back to back on Monday and Wednesday. Do I have a different link at which time I would come in or get out and in for each one? I'm not following that exactly.
If it's two different classes,
Yes.
I would have
Different subjects
Yeah.
also.
I would have two different links.
And I would therefore, since I'm coming in on that link too, need to leave one and come back in on the other just like the student, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. When you are wanting to enter your meeting, you open Zoom, you go to meetings, and if it's time, you just click on it. Actually, it'll say start. You just click start. And you can start that meeting. You can end the meeting that you were in and then go to your meetings and start the next one. The other thing I'm going to show you is recordings. So I will often record my meetings with students, and I record them to the cloud. So there are two ways to record a meeting with students. You can select record to computer, which will save it to the computer you're using. And they're pretty big files depending on how long the meeting was. Or you can save them to the cloud, in which case you're saving them to a Zoom server. When you save the recording to a Zoom server, it's not a permanent recording unless you download it. It's permanent for 90 days. So it's available on Zoom. Will let you use their server for space for 90 days with our professional accounts. But after that, it'll be deleted. So if you record something to the cloud and you don't want to lose it, you will have to download it at some point. But often I don't want a permanent version of my classroom recordings. It's just in case a student needs it because they were absent. And what I love about the recordings on the cloud is that they have captions and a transcript. I will show you how to make sure that happens in settings. It's not automatic, but I'll show you one I made today. So I did about a 10-minute review. I recorded it for my biology class, and I am going to show that to you. Let's see.
While you get that ready, one of the other things that I really like about Zoom is the closed captioning. So we have students who have accommodations. And so I send the recordings to those students and any of the students that were absent.
I have a question. I had a meeting with my faculty, and she had a Zoom link that was connected, I guess, to her email or something like that. And she said that she could use that link for all of her classes. Anytime she was getting ready to have a meeting, she could send that same link and students could use that. How do we do that? I feel like you guys are a little bit ahead of me with what you're talking about right now. I'm not ready for that lesson. I need the basics. You're muted, Jessica. I can't hear you.
Thank you. See, that happens all the time. My students will chat at me that they can't hear me. In your profile, that's this personal link. So your personal link is one that you can give out, and then a student can use it anytime. Like you can meet students there anytime. I like that for office hours where I just want to meet with a student or a small group one-on-one on the fly, and I don't want to have to bother setting up a meeting. But for a class, I would probably prefer to just set up a meeting. So it's a link just for that class. So I'm not going to get students, I just want my students from that particular class versus that personal link is like anybody could join.
Dumb question. If I'm setting up two different links, or am I setting up two different links for the two different classes? Howard Doty asking question. Is that going to be a different personal, whatever you called it there, personal? I can hardly see it.
Okay, link. No,
Link.
those will be meetings. Those will be considered meetings. So for example, I have an NSCC 1010 class. It meets on Thursdays at 3 p.m. So actually it meets Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 3 p.m. And so if you look through my meeting schedule, it's showing me that virtual class every day it happens. So it's a recurring meeting. It's going to show up in my list of meetings, and I start it whenever it is that time, that day and time I start it.
Yeah, and when you record and you have separate links for each class, when the recording comes back, it tells you what meeting it belongs to. So if you were going to just use one link for all of your classes, that would get really confusing.
Okay. So a link for each class, got it. And then let's say I was going to do advising or office hours like you were talking about. I could have the personal link where I wouldn't have to go in and set up a meeting. I could just send the link and be able to jump right on in.
Yep.
Amazing.
That's
Okay.
what we recommend. And when I say a link for each class, I mean a link so that one link serves for a class that meets on Monday and Wednesday. I wouldn't want you to make a link for Monday and a link for Wednesday. You can set it up so when you schedule a new meeting, as long as you select recurring meeting and weekly, you can select which days of the week. Monday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I would name that meeting, like,
Yes.
SOCI 1010 section 1, NO1 or whatever.
Right, like SOC 1010 and 71.
Okay. Well, I would have to because I teach the same class. So
right, exactly.
I better put
Yes.
some section numbers on there.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a question that's potentially a stupid one. I know we say there are no stupid questions, but this one, this profile page that you came to, I'm not sure how to get to that. So remember I told you I was back of the bus? I'm back of the bus.
No, it's fine. So the way I got to this is, let's see, let me log out.
Okay.
So back in March, I received an email from our technical TSD. I think it was from Paul Kaminsky, and it had a link, and it allowed me to set up my professional account. But it's based on my school email. So when I want to sign in, it's my NSCC email address and a password. And then I just click sign in, and then I'm there.
Okie dokie. I had to do some research. Thank you, ladies.
So I'll go back to recordings. I'm going to press, well, actually, yeah, I'll press play in a second. But one of the nice things about the recording when you record to the cloud is you get a link, and you can embed that link. You can put that link in NS Online. And so I can have a module in NS Online. I'll show you in my class with my links so that students can access the recording very easily. So in fact, what I would do is I would copy the shareable link, and I would I'm going to go to NS Online. Here's my NS Online page for my general biology class. I could go to content. I happen to have my Zoom link module open, so I'm going to create a link, and I'm going to paste that link I just got, and I'm going to give it a title like practice Zoom recording for July 21st, and click create. And then what we've got here is, I'll click play, but we have the recording will be here. There's closed captioning available, and a transcript will run along the side. And what I love about the transcript and the closed captioning is it says who's talking. Now, this was just a recording I made of me talking. There was nobody joining me. It was just a way to record myself talking. But if you're having a discussion, it will identify everyone who's speaking. So I'll just press play for a minute. Okay, I think I'm recording, and this is July 21st. The semester ends in 10 days, July 31st. It's Tuesday, it's 12:30. I'm going to go over Exam 5 material, ecology. My last Zoom will be, well, my last official Zoom will be July 23rd, Thursday, and 2 days, a 2 p.m. review of old material. The final exam is a mixture of old and new. Anyway, I've been pretty impressed with the captions. They have punctuation, they capitalize letters, and within D2L, in the transcript, there's a little pencil icon, and I can actually change the transcript in D2L. Like I could, if I notice something's wrong, I could change it, and it will have that new, well, it should have that new edit that I made. Now, as far as I can tell, that's just in the transcript part and not in the closed captioning, but you can really easily see the transcript as you're watching the video. Anyway, I love it. And Marla, you are using it this summer with as an accommodation.
Yes, I am. So the student that I have can't take notes easily, so she's been very glad that it's got closed captioning. She can slow down the video. She can, read through the transcript at her own pace. And so far, it's worked. I'm still getting used to seeing myself on the screen, so. Jess, you're muted again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Another reason I like putting it into D2L, this link, is I can see which of my students have watched it. And I'm thinking for the fall, I might require that they watch a certain number. It's asynchronously, but that they are required to watch it. And I can tell if they've watched it because right underneath the video is a tab that says completion summary. And if I click on that, it's going to list all my students and whether or not they watched that video. None of my students have because I just posted it, but that would be a way for me to gauge who's watching, and if I wanted to make it part of their grade to watch it.
Quick question.
Yep.
How did you get that cool background?
Oh, that's okay. So it doesn't work for everyone. And because Marla, you've tried and it's not working, right?
Yeah, it's something with my computer. I did get it. I did get a background to work in Microsoft Teams, but if you move just right, um, it it's it's not crisp at all. It's, you know,
Oh,
I can disappear into my own background.
So, I'll tell you what I did. If you go to where it says video, there's the mute and there's the stop video in the bottom left of my screen. If I go choose virtual background is one of the little options by the caret.
oh, so
And
there-
Where are you at, Jess?
okay, so do you see where it says video?
Mhm.
Stop or start video?
Yeah.
And there's like a little caret arrow drop down menu right next to the right of stop video or start.
There's mine.
It lists the camera that you're using if you're using one. It has video settings and it has choose virtual background. At least mine does.
See, I disappear into mine.
But if I click choose virtual background, I can click no background. Okay, so for just a second, you're going to see no background. But I can then, I've uploaded a bunch of random photos. I can be in Richland Creek. I can be downtown. I can be on Broadway, a restaurant, a helicopter. Oh, that's because I wear headphones all the time. Oh, which reminds me, how do you, like, what do you wear? I have tried, I don't like wearing the headphones because they look dumb and I look like I'm in a helicopter or in my cubicle doing customer service. But the audio is so good with headphones. I just, didn't cost me very much and it just, I sound good. It's just easy to hear me. So the audio is really good with the headphones. I just bought a little microphone because I don't love wearing these headphones. I just bought this microphone, but
Okay.
it sounds dumb. I sound like, I don't know. I don't like it.
Mm.
So I don't know what to do with my laptop doesn't have good audio. So that's why I'm wearing headphones.
Okay.
As to Marla and the background going away, this Howard Doty, I have found the opposite, and that is foreground going away when I get it too close to the camera. You follow?
Mm-hmm.
Got to stay back a bit too.
Thank you.
Also, you can upload little GIFs. Oh no, like this, where it looks like it's like you're really in a nice spot.
Right.
Or you don't want to be too distracting, right? But
Right.
I like this one because it's so peaceful. But
Can I say a little bit about the background?
yeah,
I have a mid 2014 MacBook Pro, and it's only a 2-core processor, and that's not powerful enough for that. It won't even do still photographs. Yet my iPad Pro will do a background. So until I update my computer, its background's not going to work for me. So it could have something to do with your processor.
right.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
actually, maybe that's it. I inherited this from my son, who's a big gamer. So it's probably got a really good processor. Anyway, so that's in virtual background. But actually, while we're on settings for virtual background, there are some other settings you could look at. So with that little arrow next to video, I'm on virtual background. That's why I was changing my background. But there's general. and at the very top. And if you look at general, there's some various things you can select. And one of them, and one you might want to talk to students about, is you can change the skin tone of your reaction person. So we have two reactions. We have a thumbs up and a clapping hand that can appear in our video window, and you can adjust the skin tone for that. Instead of it just being the automatic kind of Simpsons yellow, it can be
Okay.
more realistic, which is nice. And there's some other things on there like start Zoom when I start Windows, use dual monitors, enter full screen automatically, remind me 5 minutes before my upcoming meetings. There's video. Under video, there's touch up my appearance. Mine is checked. I'll uncheck it. I don't see any difference. So
I don't see any either.
anyway.
We can't see the screen anymore.
Oh, you can't see me? Wait,
I
sorry.
can see you, but I'm seeing everybody. How do I go away from that?
Oh, speaker view. You can be on speaker view or gallery view. Speaker view, you'll just see me.
I don't see that. Oh, at the top. Oh,
Is there
got
like
it.
a little waffle?
Now I see. Oh, okay, got it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Audio settings, share screen settings, virtual background, recording, statistics, feedback. Oh, never mind. Keyboard shortcuts, accessibility. While I'm thinking of settings, I'm going to go back to my Zoom account and show you some of the settings I think are important as an instructor. So let's see, I'm going to share my screen. Let's see, under recordings, if you click settings, if you want to get those captions, you actually have to click something in settings. So I'm in recordings. I'm going to go over and click settings over on the right. And by the way, we are recording this, so we'll share the link. It'll be on the online learning website. But for recording settings, there's many things that you can select, but the one I want to make sure you select, because it's not automatic, is audio transcript. That's right here. That's how you get captions when you record to the cloud. You need to select audio transcript.
And the other setting that's in here has to do with password protecting the videos. I have a student who has accommodations, and it's difficult for her to type in the password to the videos, so I've had to remove the passwords from the videos.
Right.
And if you scroll up a little bit, there's a way to not record the thumbnails that we're all in on the side of the.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't
so
even, I've never saw that before. Okay.
Yeah, you can unclick that, and then it won't record.
Everybody else.
It'll record who's talking, and you'll see them, but you won't see anyone else.
Oh, that's nice. What was I going to say while we're on here? You can also select automatic recording, record meetings automatically as they start. I don't like to do that as long as I remember, but I'm pretty good. I'm in a pretty good habit to remember to record, but I like to start recording a class meeting after it's started, just to give students a chance to just chat about whatever that doesn't need to be recorded. And then when you start to record a meeting, it should alert everyone that you should say that you are, but it will also alert them this meeting is being recorded. I'm also just going to go to my overall settings. And there are all sorts of settings that you can look at with Zoom. You can have what's called a waiting room. You can, for a class, like a regularly scheduled meeting, you can decide that students can join even before you get there, or you can choose waiting room and they have to wait until you get there. I don't like waiting room because I find it annoying to have to admit everyone. But if you don't choose waiting room, it's possible that they could be in the meeting room without you. So I don't know.
Question on the recording it. And you said, of course, there's a click, and I've never done this anyway, in the cloud. Is there some other place to record it? Or is
You
the cloud?
Well, the advantage of the cloud is the Zoom server has the technology, like the artificial intelligence, to caption it. But you can always record it just directly to your own computer, but it won't be captioned.
And if I do it to my own computer, it's there past the 30 days or whatever you indicated. If I do it in the cloud, it doesn't stay there that long, correct?
Correct. But if it's in the cloud and you decide you do want it, you can download it. And when you download it, you can download the video and the transcript. That it's just there'll be two separate things. It's only on the Zoom server that it's that nice, like, side-by-side presentation.
I actually do not want to download it or to record. So
Okay.
just wondering where it was going to go to.
Mm-hmm. If you record to your computer, it'll just record to wherever you want it to go on your computer.
And you're saying that now okay, to my computer. I'm sitting at home. My computer at home or
Yeah, no, your computer at home. So if your computer at home doesn't have a lot of storage space, these are huge files.
I know these dumb questions, but I'm not tech savvy at all. So even though my account is through Nashville State, it's going to record it on my whatever I'm using, my home computer, correct?
Correct. But if you recorded it to your home computer and then uploaded it to NS Online, then it's on NS Online and you could delete it in your home computer.
Perfect. Thank you.
Does that? You could also upload it to, never mind, I don't want to get into that. All right. There's one more thing I want to make sure we try, because Marla and I love this. It's our favorite part of Zoom, and I think you might be able to use it. And it is the breakout rooms. The breakout rooms are a way to break up your students into smaller groups and put them in virtual rooms where they can have a meeting, or you could give them a topic. What I'm going to do is put you in breakout rooms, and I want you to talk about what else you want to know, so that we can have, when you get out of the breakout room, we can have a chat and we can record what it is you need to know, so that when Marla and I do our next training, we can address some of these issues. So because I'm a host, I have at the bottom of my screen next to participants in chat what looks like a little waffle for breakout rooms. And I can select, when I click on that, I can select the number of rooms I want. I'm going to select 9 rooms. That means there will be, I'm going to select 10 rooms. There will be, 9 rooms. And there will be 2 to 3 participants per room. It's random, but you can actually set up rooms so it's not random before the meeting even begins. So you're going to be in a room with 2 to 3 people. I want you to just chat and like actually chat, like talk, and think about what it is you might use Zoom for, what questions you still have. And when I let you out of the breakout room, maybe one of you can report back or put in the chat summarize what you came up with. As the instructor, I can join any breakout room I want. And when you're in a breakout room, you can notify me you need help. I don't think I'll give you any help today though. Anyway, I'm going to open the rooms. You're going to see a request to join a breakout room, and I ask you to join it.
Yeah.
And just see
And
what it's like.
you can make these random or you can do them manually.
So if you select it should be asking you if you can join, and you should join the breakout room. Otherwise, we're going to have people in rooms all by themselves.
Jessica, I minimized mine somewhere and I can't get it big enough up there.
That's okay. That's all right.
I tried to unminimize it. So anyway, I'm out here. Wait a minute, that might do it. I did it. So
Okay.
now what am I going to look for?
Do you see any note somewhere that indicates how to join a breakout room?
I think when I minimize it, I clicked no or something other. I think I canceled it.
Oh, okay.
But that's
Um,
okay. I'll
let's
I'll
see.
just go with you 1 second and say, don't forget that one smaller how a student does all this. We emailed each other about that earlier today.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Someone's asked for help and I'm going to go join their room. I'll be back.
I can't hear you, Jessica.
I do that all the time. I don't even know how. Okay. Um, as you all are returning, I can tell. I have a list of every student, and it indicates whether you're still in the breakout room or if you've returned. I mean, it's obvious if you've returned, but I can keep track of where you are. And Marla and I are in a routine where we do a breakout room in every class, at least one. We love it. It also just kind of gives you a break. Like Zoom is like you have to be on it. And I like just like having a chance to like relax a little bit and give the students some time to relax a little bit without me watching them. And you can even put students in their own breakout room, like one student per room, if you just want them to have some alone time to think about something,
Yeah.
or private time.
Put them in timeout. Right?
Time out, basically, yeah.
In the group that I was in, William asked a very good question about where to post the Zoom information. And I was sharing with him that about a week before classes start, I send an email to their personal accounts and to their MyNSCC emails, giving them instructions on how to get into D2L, as well as the classrooms link through Zoom. And then about the night before classes start, I send an email again in D2L with the Zoom information. I put the Zoom information in the syllabus, on the course schedule, and in the news section. So it's posted everywhere for them to have access to it.
And Marla and I are going to share with you, not today, but we're still working on it, but we'll share with you like a sample email you can send. We'll share with you like a sample statement you can put in your syllabus. We'll share with you. We don't want you to reinvent the wheel, so we'll share with you what we share with our students.
How are you going to share it?
Well, we're going to try to be high tech about it, and it'll be a Google Doc, but we'll see. We'll see.
Jessica and I exchanged emails earlier today. David, a person in our section asked, is there a simple one? What was sent out yesterday had 6 different places for a student to click on to try to figure out Zoom. And that's why I emailed Jessica earlier today saying, can't we make it a little bit simpler? And that's what she's alluding to. And that is maybe a paragraph or 2 for the student, not just for non-tech people like me. Is everything that's we're talking about here also viewable or doable on a telephone? Because I have a lot of students that do all this on iPhone. What about that?
It is. It's easier on a computer for sure. So it wouldn't be my first choice, but you can do it on a phone. And in fact, when my power went out, I thought, oh my gosh, I should have set it up on my phone, because while I wouldn't want that to be my first choice, I could have used my phone. And so it's a good idea for you to have figured out how to do it on your phone as a backup.
The problem is I don't know how they can see it because of the fact I'm having to really squint, and thank you for you guys telling me how to make it a little bit larger on my screen here, but it didn't make that much larger when you're putting up your screen. I couldn't hardly read that.
Right.
How they can do that on the iPhone.
Right. So it's not ideal, but in a pinch, it's better than nothing.
Yeah, and I'm to the point that I'm going to have to get like a 40-inch or a 50-inch television to use as a monitor, because this little screen's not doing it for me.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I did, I don't know if this will help, but it may not be big enough for you, Marla, but I just have a 13-inch MacBook Pro, and I fairly recently got a 27-inch Hewlett-Packard monitor that I hook up to it. Works just fine. In fact, once I get the computer turned on, I can actually close the computer and put it vertically into a receptacle, and just my computer acts like a desktop.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, I have
I
a keyboard and a track.
I have reading glasses and I go up like this. So how about this? Because we're running low on time, and let's why don't you put in the chat any question you still have, so that we can address it, and that way I'll download the chat and I'll have a record of it.
And I have sample emails that I've sent out to both my social group and my NSCC 1010 group. So if anybody kind of needs a template or
Yeah,
ideas on what to say, we
we'll
can.
share those for sure. So what's that, Jack Wallace? Um, so I would say we should sign off. Actually, one thing I do with my students is I take attendance with the chat. So I say you have to say goodbye on the chat, so I know that you were here the whole time. And so say goodbye, and maybe we'll see you again. And but really appreciate you being here.
Ciao.
But you are free to go.